So I spent 10.5 hours on this, and I trusted the process, and I feel like the process betrayed me. So we have something in the office called sending a pattern to Europe. One of my designs has been around for maybe a little bit too long at this point, and I really want to send her to Europe and bring her back more sophisticated, maybe with a little bit of a French accent. And that pattern is Rainbow Garden, of course. Rainbow Garden was originally based on Taylor Swift's 2021 Grammys dress, and I don't think I did too bad of a job with it. This is the original. And when I look at it now, I don't like it. Like, it does look like the dress for the most part, and it's cute. I'm really, really, really over it. I really want to discontinue her, but I can't, hence sending her to Europe. I can't discontinue her because I just was in Atlanta for our January trade show, and the buyers really are drawn to Rainbow Garden. I think it's because it has these really big flowers in it, particularly sunflowers, which are quite popular with a lot of people. And it's very different from the rest of my patterns. So Rainbow Garden does get ordered a lot on my direct-to-consumer side and my wholesale side. And just the way that the buyers were talking about this pattern and picking it up and ordering it, I was like, you know, I just don't know that I can discontinue her. So we're gonna send her to Europe. I actually tried to do that this weekend, and well, okay. It didn't exactly work out. I was really trying to trust the process, but I feel like the process really kind of failed me in this scenario. This is what I came up with, and I just don't love it. I started out with this black outline thinking that it was gonna be like really cute and have maybe like sort of a on-trend block printy vibe to it maybe, and it just looks straight out of Into the Spider-Verse circa 2019 or whatever. It's kind of giving comic book vibes, and that's not what I'm going for. I like the color scheme a lot more. So a couple things that changed is I added this like periwinkle tone, and these used to be like white hydrangea e-flowers. I made them periwinkle. I added a lot more of this like plummy color. And I overall just made the pattern a lot cooler instead of very warm toned, especially with like, it had like a warm beige pink background, and now the background is like just the slightest off-white. So I was feeling really disheartened when I finished that, and I was feeling like maybe I was gonna give up. I felt at the beginning like this was gonna be amazing, because when I was looking at it, when I first started drawing it, I thought this was really pretty. It was giving good vibes, but I think the dark centers of the flowers started to make it look odd. I don't know. I don't know how it went from this to that, because I liked this and then I didn't like the final product. So I didn't want to give up on her, and I'm currently in the late stages, I think, of rescuing European Rainbow Garden. What we were saying in the office, what I said in our group chat when I debuted the like new version that I didn't like, was like, I tried to send her to Europe, but her plane got diverted to Nebraska. Sorry, Nebraska. But her flight to Paris may be rebooked. This is where I'm at now. And it is adding, basically I took away the black outline, I kept all of the underpainting, and I added a bunch of like oil painty vibe accents and shadows. And without the black outline, I think it is coming together. It's not done yet, but I think this is pretty. I think this is something. I think it's giving the spirit of the original Rainbow Garden with the like big blooms. The color scheme I think is really nice. I'm a big fan. All that's left to do is add a lot more shading to differentiate the flowers, because they kind of blend together. Like, this sunflower is really not giving me a lot of like vibrance and excitement. It needs more shadowing, which is kind of what I was doing with this one. So hopefully we can rescue this. We can still yet rebook her flight to study abroad and come back more sophisticated and cutesy. So fingers crossed. I also am on a tight timeline. I need to do this so that I can swap out this pattern for the Old Rainbow Garden in my academic planners, which are going to print this weekend. And it's Thursday night. So, confidence is not high. And I'm also leaving for Vegas tomorrow for another trade show. So, is this the right time to embark on this journey? Probably not. But would I love to not have Old Rainbow Garden on my planners again? Absolutely. So it feels like it is simultaneously a very bad time and just the right time. So this is the journey I'm on. So I would rather send a pattern to Europe versus just discontinuing it altogether and replacing it with a new one when that pattern is very popular, but I don't like it. Or there's some essence to it that I want to keep, or some like place that it fills within the brand, but I don't like it. So other patterns that have gone to Europe are Sunny Poppies, used to be Sunflower Field. It's not like a one-to-one. It wasn't like a direct redraw, but I needed a sunflower pattern. I just didn't like Sunflower Field. And interestingly enough, Sunflower Field had very similar vibes actually to Rainbow Garden as far as the artistic style that it was in. Hence why I also don't like Rainbow Garden. Rainbow Garden really kind of overstayed her welcome because Sunflower Field was discontinued in like 2022 and Rainbow Garden is still here in 2026. So I'm trying to, again, do that with Rainbow Garden. Another pattern that got sent to Europe was porcelain, which is appropriate because it is giving Italian coast. And it was originally in my like more signature style, but I sketched it out really quick. Literally, like I have this vivid memory of like drawing it in my bed at like 11 p.m. And I was like, oh, it would be really fun if I had like a blue and white concept. Like I wonder how that would look. Like let me just experiment with it. And then I just like kept drawing it and I was like, oh, this is really cute. Like and I just kept doing it and doing it, and then I finished it. It was kind of like writing down a note like after you have an idea in the shower. Like that's what that pattern was, because I was like, okay, because I'm not going to have multiple colors to work with, which I normally do in my normal style, I need to make interesting shapes with the flowers, and I need to try out different like shapes to communicate like the vibe and not just rely on different colors for like displaying different parts of the flowers basically. And so I just like did that, and then I was like, oh, actually this is pretty cute. And then I was like, you know what? I'm really busy. This will work. Let's do it. Let's throw it in production. Let's see what happens. And so it was quite popular. People really liked it, but I did not like it. There was something about it, like it was too fast that I drew it. Like I didn't plan it out enough, and it didn't have like a flow to it. It didn't have more of like the circularity and like the swirliness that I think a lot of my patterns in that style have. So I didn't really like that about it. It felt a little odd, like the movement that it had. It irked me. So I discontinued that. I replaced it with like a new style. I had actually drawn the current porcelain floral in originally like a red and pink color scheme, and then I changed it to blue and white, and I was like, oh, I like that. This could be new porcelain. So, and then I just pulled the trigger one random day and was like, new porcelain it is, let's go, we're doing it. And I was really happy with the switch, even though I posted about it and not all of the people who really like EBD were satisfied with the switch. A lot of people missed old porcelain, but I had to move the brand forward. I had to give it a little more sophistication, because I know EBD is very whimsical and cutesy, but I would like to edge it towards a little bit more elevated and sophisticated as time goes on. So porcelain was one of my first attempts, and I think this switch with Rainbow Garden is going to help as well. So if successful, this could be one of our most profound trips to Europe yet. I'm really hoping that she does return and is even more beautiful than originally. So fingers crossed. Knowing when to stop with revamping a pattern can be really hard, but basically my approach right now is I've been doing coloring books for so long at this point. I haven't drawn really any new patterns in a long time. So I'm just trying to go on a streak of creating new patterns, and that's why I kind of decided to do this with Rainbow Garden. I was like, I had a day off from working and was like, what do I do? More work. And so I started drawing patterns, and then I was like, I need to redo Rainbow Garden. I have this idea. I saw like a pin on Pinterest that like sparked an idea. And then I just went ahead and did that and kind of derailed my other project. But my larger project is creating a bunch of patterns, laying them all out on the table like I've done in the past, and then being like, okay, you should stay, you should go, you should stay. I would also like to revamp Spring Garden, which is a fairly old pattern that I actually still like, but is not popular. And I just think there is a place for the color scheme, which is like a light green, a dark green, a light pink, a dark pink, and a little bit of yellow orange as accents. Like that color scheme somebody needs to fill that in the brand. So I'm experimenting with other things to replace Spring Garden as well. And then I just have other patterns that are more like on trend or inspired by just random things that have stuck in my head. And so basically I know when to stop when like I'm satisfied and I like the way it looks. And then I can kind of see after a minute, like, okay, I actually am satisfied with this. Like I need to marinate on it a little bit. So yeah, I just wasn't satisfied when I originally saw the revamp of Rainbow Garden and was like, maybe there's a way I can still rescue it. And I think what I'm gonna do is just make a bunch of patterns, and instead of like editing them down, like, or revamping or trying to rescue a pattern, with the exception of Rainbow Garden, I'm just gonna let a bunch happen and then choose who I like. But there have been some patterns that I've edited in the past that have turned out to be like good edits. There was Mushroom Meadows / Celestial Garden, where I wasn't sure about the beige or the black background, and then Olivia gave me the suggestion of adding moons and stars to the black background one, and now it's a super popular pattern. So editing is not my normal approach, but sometimes it has its merits, and I'm hoping that's how Rainbow Garden turns out as well. So how do I know when to stop? I don't, except for when I look at it and then I'm like, oh, perfect. It's great. Yeah, I try, but I just don't edit that much. So I try to stop as soon as possible at all times. So let me know what you think. Do you like the new version? Do you like the work in progress version, middle version, Nebraska version? Do you like the old version? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you have any suggestions for new patterns, I am all ears because I am right in the middle of making hopefully several new collections for the business. I am so excited. So yeah, lots of stuff to leave in the comments for me. I'm really excited to see what people say. So don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and you'll be able to follow along for lots more small business and art content.